Chapter 8. Don't say you love me in the next life. Mall. Gao Xianzi's camp. In the center tent, Prince Song and Gao Xianzi were sitting aside sipping tea, while Lin Chong stood respectfully in front of them. How is it? How is the soldiers' morale now? Prince Song asked with a smile. Lin Chong nodded and said, the marshal's arrangement, indeed, made the generals become more active, while incomparably hating Gu Hai, now able to correspond with their families. And all the generals did not have much of a temper, Lin Chong said with admiration. Gu Hai, this person uses tricks, can't be defended against. That group of rich merchants, keep a careful eye on them. Also, don't let them contact the generals for a long time. Anyone who disobeys, take them down immediately. Gao Xianzi sipped his tea and said, yes, don't worry Marshal, just. Lin Chong suddenly frowned. Oh, Gao Xianzi steeped his complexion. What's wrong again? Since Gao Xianzi knew that Gu Hai was a rival, he had never dared to have a hint of laxity. Even the slightest detail had to be careful. After all, the mutiny not long ago had almost happened silently. Lin Chong looked at Prince Song. Even though the marshal has already asked the emperor to order heavy punishment to calm the military's heart, but this incident of being exterminated still keeps happening, Lin Chong explained. Not bad. Now we can only look around. We all know about this. What's different this time? Gao Xianzi was puzzled. This time, the target, locked on the imperial grandson of the current dynasty, Song Zhengxi. Lin Chong said in a deep voice. What? Prince Song's face suddenly stood up with a change in color. Imperial grandson, that was his own son. His own son was far away in the imperial capital, Song City. How could he also be framed? Gao Xianzi's pupils also shrank. In the past, he was just an ordinary official or nobleman, but this time he's the imperial great-grandson. Gu Hai is showing his fangs this time. Gao Xianzi's face was ugly as he said, are kneeling in front of my tent, begging me to ask the marshal to be the master of the middle. Lin Chong frowned. Bastard Gu Hai, framing my son, Lin Chong. Have you made it clear to them? These are all false accusations, Prince Song said, anxiously. Lin Chong frowned and said, my subordinate checked. The ones who came to report are the relatives or next of kin letters of 15 generals. However, there are 13 who are just missing personnel. That Gu Hai hasn't lost his heart to kill military personnel. Huh. If Gu Hai directly killed that group of family members and directly framed my son, wouldn't it be more favorable to him? Prince Song frowned. No good, no good. Gao Xianzi's face changed. What's wrong? It just occurred to me that Gu Hai's malicious intentions are so horrible. I was almost blinded by appearances again, and his poisonous plan actually hides a poisonous plan inside. Gu Hai captured the families of that group of soldiers. Although the soldiers hate Gu Hai, but in their hearts, they all carry a trace of hope, thinking that their relatives are still alive. At least they are still alive. They just hate Gu Hai. They have not reached the level of deadly hatred. At least Gu Hai didn't kill their whole family. In the hearts of this group of soldiers, being captured by Gu Hai, on the contrary, it's the best result. When this group of soldiers fight, they will have to throw their weight around. Although it's only a very small group of people, but the emotions will spread. I don't know what other plots Gu Hai has used on them. If he turns them, won't he? Gao Xianzi's face kept changing. Curbing. Hiss. Prince Song also drew in a breath of cold air. Lin Chong, you said that of those 15 generals, 13 are family members whose whereabouts are unknown. But what about the other 2? Gao Xianzi stared at Lin Chong. Lin Chong's face took on an ugly look as he looked at the crown prince and lowered his head. Indeed, it was the imperial grandson, Song Zhengxi, who did this. A gem. Crown Prince Song's face sank. Crown Prince, my subordinate spoke frankly. The imperial grandson, Song Zhengxi, these ears rely on their own identity. In Song City scourged, how many good women you are not unaware of. before the two countries were at war. Crown Prince, you have also taken care of the Song city officials for him, to help suppress the imperial grandson of a scandalous incident, Lin Chong whispered. Boom. Prince Song, however, slammed the table. Lin Chong, are you sure the Crown Prince did this? Gao Xianzi also said with a burst of ugly face. More brought some of their family tokens, Lin Chong whispered. Pa. Prince Song sat his butt on top of the chair. Little brat. Before the trip I want him not to cause trouble. Along the way also constantly write home to his mother. Restrained him. Unexpectedly. Prince Song agonized. You just said that it was their life and death brother who passed on the news. Is that person who passed the message reliable? Will he be bribed by Gu Hai? You have to realize that some friendships are thick or not, in terms of what one has gone through. But how much leverage is there for betrayal? Gao Xianzi said in a deep voice. Prince Song's eyes lit up. Right, that person who sent the letter might also have been bribed a bit. They implore the marshal to be impartial, avenge their loved ones, Lin Chong said in a deep voice. This result is not out yet. How can the sentence be meted out? Prince Song said anxiously. Went out on the battlefield. Wang Taizhen had already shown a gesture that made they were already disgusted by the gesture. It's already deeply rooted in people's hearts, and if there's a problem with the messenger, although I don't dare to guarantee it, but I believe 90% won't be a problem. That person I've seen before, he'd rather die than give in. His love is deep, and this time, there's a corpse to prove it. 90% could be my son. Prince Song face ugly occasion. They are going to follow the military law and let the imperial son die. Lin Chong nodded. Song Zhengxi cannot die. Gao Xianzi's face sank as he said. HMA Prince Song's eyes lit up as he looked at Gao Xianzi. Gao Xianzi, on the other hand, had a gloomy face. I counted to see. The imperial grandson is just a big flag. If we kill the imperial grandson today, tomorrow there will be evidence of the current imperial master's guilt sent to us. And the day after that, there will be evidence of the current prime minister's guilt sent to us. And there will be evidence of the guilt of a whole bunch of royals and princes sent to us. To fight for injuries with injuries and end it as soon as possible. Otherwise, no one can defend anymore. Gao Xianzi said with an ugly face. Really couldn't stop it. There was the current emperor on top, and even Immortal Zong staring at it. He can't save Song Zhengxi at all. But now, Gao Xianzi wants to save Song Zhengxi. Marshal, you like this? Is it considered using power for personal gain? Siding with the evil and rebuking the good? Lin Chong frowned. No, the situation is even trickier than I thought. It must be pressed down immediately. Prince, by your order, immediately gather the generals who captured the 4 directions of the city. Immediately gather 800,000 troops. Immediately soldiers to attack Hujing Pass. As long as the Hujing Pass is broken, Gu Hai's more intrigues and plots will be useless. Gao Xianzi said in a deep voice. Good. Prince Song nodded his head gratefully. What about Song Zhengxi? Lin Chong looked at Gao Xianzi. You just said that there are 15 people kneeling outside your tent. 13 of them should be easy to get them to refrain and throw all the dirty water all over Gu Hai. As for all the generals in the camp whose families have disappeared, pick them out immediately and allow them to go back to their respective homes and look for their families with the whole city. They should be willing to do so. Gao Xianzi said in a deep voice. My subordinate understands picking out these unstable factors, but what about the 2 generals who were 90% mutilated by Song Zhengxi? Gao Xianzi said in a deep voice. At this moment, the greater good is paramount. Lin Chong, how many years have you been with me? You should understand that mercy does not govern. A cold light flashed in Gao Xianzi's eyes. Yes, Lin Chong frowned and walked out of the camp. Prince Song quickly gave out one order after another. Lin Chong also saw the kneeling 15 people once again, pacifying 13 of them. He poured dirty water on Guhai and told them to go forward and prepare to pack their bags and return to the Chengdu to find their relatives. But there are still two staring at Lin Chong. Their eyes were already red from crying, and they were kneeling on the ground, refusing to get up. One tore open his blouse. "My lord, don't try to persuade me. What kind of person is Lao Wu? You've seen him before. His life was also saved by me. He has no children and is immobile. Will he be impressed by money? Even if you give him more money, he can't use it. He would lie to me. What kind of token did he bring? This small stone of my sister, always hanging around her neck, never leaving her body, inside her clothes. No one knows. Lao Wu is not collecting the body for my sister. He can get it, Lord." The two kept kowtowing. Lin Chong's heart was not good at the moment, although he believed the two people. But the marshal's explanation, "Don't worry, you don't worry. Immediately go back to Chengdu. Check it out. If it's true, then," Lin Chong advised. "No, once we go back, who will still recognize? At that time, then ask the marshal to make a decision. We two small people, even back to the camp, is impossible. Although I am a big old man, I understand. Now do not get the marshal's decree law. In the future, we'll never have the opportunity. But that high and mighty man, who dares to find trouble with him, he'll be the crown prince, and then the emperor. We'll never be able to avenge his death. Didn't the marshal say he'd do it for us? Now, let him do it. If he doesn't do it, then he's just farting. The marshal's military order is a fart. How dare you?" Lin Chong's eyes glared. The two men immediately knocked their heads desperately to the ground. "My lord, we want revenge, even if we die. I want revenge. When we were recruited, we came to fight because we listened to you, but, listening to you, our whole family died, my lord." Ooh. Lin Chong was also incredibly difficult at this moment, but there was nothing that could be done. "My lord, we fought to the death. For what? Song Zhengxi is the future king. We fought to the death for him, and he's messing with our whole family in the back." Whoops, another person cried out. Lin Chong gritted his teeth and had to be ruthless at this moment. Looking towards the two, a cold light of intolerance flared in his eyes. His hand even pressed onto the hilt of his sword. Brother-in-law, brother-in-law. Suddenly, the sound of anxious cries came from outside the tent. However, it was an extremely thin man with a pale face and tattered clothes who broke into the tent. Following behind were two guards. "My lord, I saw that it was your family, so I didn't stop them." The two guards came in and explained. "Well, you guys go out." Lin Chong nodded. The two guards immediately went out. "Xiao Yu, why are you here? Why are you like this?" Lin Chong was surprised. Seeing Lin Chong, Xiao Yu burst into tears. Xiao Yu knelt on the ground and hugged Lin Chong's leg in the midst of crying. "Xiao Dai, what happened to little Dai?" Lin Chong's face instantly changed wildly, and the hand pressing on the hilt of his sword trembled violently. Terrified, he looked at the frail man. Sister was killed by the imperial grandson Song Zhengxi. Our entire village was killed by Song Zhengxi's henchmen. A fire burned them all dead, all dead. Woo! Xiao Yu was in the midst of crying in pain. Lin Chong had a steep heavenly spin. Images from before he left for war suddenly filled his mind. "Husband, don't go to war, okay? Let's just be rich. Isn't that good? You go to war, I'm scared." "Xiao Di, trust me. It's fine. I'm following the marshal. As long as there's a marshal, there's no danger. Trust me. But, if you go, what if there's an eventuality? I can't live without you." "Nothing will happen. It's my lifelong dream to follow the marshal and build a career. Trust me. But, people die in wars. If you are going to die, whoops, my intention to go has been decided. Don't say anything. If I die, I'll love you again in the next life. In the next life, I love you again." Lin Chong immediately stumbled At that time, just too much want to follow Gao Xianzi. So a moment of anger, and still based on the premise of his own death. But not little butterfly, not little butterfly. Thinking about it now, how sad little butterfly was at that time. Why didn't I put myself in Xiao Di's shoes? Why was I so selfish, Xiao Di? I don't want to love you in the next life. I want to be in this life. Song Zhengxi tried to molest sister, and was slapped by sister. He went back and found a group of people to come, and tried to forcibly lewdly insult sister. Xiao Yu cried and said, Song Zhengxi. Lin Chong's entire body was in a state of trembling. Ooh, Xiao Yu cried and said. Plop. Lin Chong suddenly knelt on the ground, painfully holding his head in agony. This time, the expedition, on the one hand, want to build a career. More importantly, this time back to be able to be a big official, so that Xiao Di is an official wife, always happy and happy. But, Xiao Di, I shouldn't have left, when you needed me the most. I was helping Song Zhengxi to fight the war. But I was helping Song Zhengxi to fight the war. Lin Chong hugged his head and cried. Brother-in-law, before my sister hit the wall and died, she looked to the north, as if looking in your direction, and said something. It was very bleak. Xiao Yu cried. Sister said, Lin Chong, don't say you love me in the next life. Xiao Yu recalled painfully. Don't say you love me in the next life. Don't say you love me in the next life. Don't say love me. Lin Chong's despair and helplessness, as well as his heart dying before Xiao Di's death, kept echoing in his mind. Oh, Lin Chong held his head and hissed. Lin Chong's shout was so loud, a hiss of pain, that the entire military camp heard it. My lord, do you still want to silence us? Still want Song Zhengxi to get away with it? What bullshit big picture? What bullshit war? I just want my family to live. My lord, please, let the marshal avenge us. There were sounds of weeping in the tent, and Lin Chong's agonizing shouts had long drawn the attention of the four quarters of the military camp. After a while, Lin Chong walked out of the tent as if he were a zombie, followed by Xiao Yu and two agonized soldiers, and slowly walked outside the middle army tent. Walking outside Gao Xianzi's tent, Lin Chong slowly took off the battle robe on his body and stripped off his official body. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Upper body. Kneeling outside the tent of Gao Xianzi. Body countless scars hideous. Let a person look at a chill. Born into death, into the fire. Never complained. Now, Lin Chong's family is broken. I implore the marshal to do the Lord. Clear and correct military law. Clear and correct the law of the country. Beheading the emperor's grandson, Song Zhengxi. I implore you, Marshal, to honor your promise, to clarify the military law, and to behead Song Zhengxi. The Tabita generals also roared in agony. The other 13 people, who had been persuaded to leave earlier, also quickly ran over when they heard the news. I implore you, Marshal, to clearly correct the military law and behead Song Zhengxi. The 13 men bellowed. The generals who had been following Lin Chong and had been born to die got the news and saw Lin Chong kneeling down and followed suit. Lin Chong was Gao Xianzi's vanguard general, and his teammates who fought on the front line, in the midst of rubbing shoulders with the god of death, were the true brothers in life and death. With Lin Chong's obeisance, hundreds of people followed and knelt down. Not long after, outside the camp of Gao Xianzi, has knelt more than 500 people. Each took off his shirt, revealing countless military scars on his body. Lin Chong profoundly no. Quietly looking for Gao Xianzi. Certainly useless. Want a revenge. Can only be known to the whole army. Sure enough, at this moment, hundreds of thousands of people in the camp all heard Lin Chong's high drink. Will he withdraw his words because of the other party's status? Military order is like a mountain, or military order is a child's play. Countless people were concerned. Guess the situation outside. His eyebrows wrinkled into a Chuan character. Snap! The teacup in Gao Xianzi's hand was crushed. Gu Hai, I still underestimated your speed, not even giving me time to breathe. Gao Xianzi said with an ugly face. Song Dynasty capital, Song City. Gu Hon looked at a crippled man in front of him. The crippled man stared at Gu Hon with a gloomy face. The letter, I've already written it over. I hope you can honor your promise and don't harm the families of my 2 brothers, the cripple said in a deep voice. Cripple clenched his fists and could only be helpless. It turned out that the family tragedy of Lin Chong's to subordinates was all fake. Gu Hon arranged for cripple old 5 and went to meet Gu Hai. Gu Hai was currently looking at a chessboard. In deep thought, righteous father, haven't you read the new news? Gu Hon asked. Not bad, true and false news. It doesn't matter. As long as the most crucial one is true, that's fine. Song Zhengxi is to blame and deserves to be punished. And it is also the imperial grandson of the dynasty. It is also counted as a coincidence to meet me, right? Gu Hai once again dropped a white stone and said, but what if there was no such thing as Song Zhengxi? Gu Hon curiously said. Without this matter, Gu Hai paused to look at Gu Hon. Yes, what if Song Zhengxi didn't kill Xiao Dai? Oh, it doesn't matter. This strategy was originally called creating something out of nothing. Without little butterfly, there's still little cat, little flower, and little man. And speaking of which, at first I wasn't even prepared to use Song Zhengxi. After all, the identity of the imperial grandson isn't honorable enough. And in the middle of this Song city, there's the imperial master and the prime minister. Gu Han's expression moved as he nodded and said, so it seems that it was Song Zhengxi himself who caught up with it. Or he was unlucky. As long as the position was right, anyone could have replaced it. Not bad. Gu Hai smiled faintly. If I were Gao Xianzi, even if the imperial grandson, I would still have to kill. Gu Hon pondered for a moment. Yes, kill. However, this game has just begun. So instead, I want this imperial grandson to live, Gu Hai said as a white piece slowly landed on top of the chessboard. Snap!